Culture is the system of values and norms that govern behavior, how we do things around here. Culture can shape whether organizations are built to last or doomed to perish. It has a dramatic impact on performance and innovation. And I believe DoD culture stifles innovation. In the DoD, innovation is mostly discussed in terms of new technology, but innovation ultimately rests on people. Buying all the advanced machines, software, and data in the world doesn't guarantee that people will rethink old strategies and develop new ones. Our ability to anticipate our adversaries' moves and avoid falling behind depends on a culture of innovation, values and norms that support the generation and successful implementation of creative ideas. We know that good management is the lifeblood of innovation. There's evidence from the software industry, for example, that managers have tripled the impact of individual innovators on performance. But I'm afraid that DoD is still, by and large, doing 1950s era management. During my time on the Defense Innovation Board, I consistently heard three sentiments from leaders and managers that undermine a culture of innovation. The first is, "That's too risky." On my visits to military bases, I heard many junior people say different things behind leaders' backs than to their faces. That's a symptom that people lack psychological safety, the freedom to take risks without the fear of being punished. We have extensive evidence that a culture of psychological safety is critical to preventing threats and promoting innovation. When people lack psychological safety, they aim to prove themselves and protect their image. They hide their mistakes and withhold their ideas. When people have psychological safety, they strive to improve themselves and protect the mission. They admit errors and voice suggestions. We need to train leaders to build psychological safety, to empower canaries in the coal mine to raise problems even if they haven't figured out yet how to solve them, to make it clear to junior people that speaking up about issues and ideas will not jeopardize their reputations or their careers, to give them the authority and the resources to champion change. Yeah, change carries risk, but not changing is risky too. It leaves us predictable and vulnerable to attack. The second sentiment that concerns me is, that's not the way we've always done it. When junior people have the courage to raise new ideas, I've seen too many DoD leaders dismiss them. Research reveals that deep experience often leads to cognitive entrenchment. Leaders start to take for granted ideas that need to be questioned. They overestimate the quality of their own ideas and underestimate the potential in new directions. They cling to tried and true best practices instead of aiming to test and learn in search of better practices. DoD should be running more experiments. We need more innovation tournaments where people compete to solve problems. We need to stop punishing people who have good ideas with bad outcomes and start rewarding people who have promising ideas with uncertain outcomes. The third sentiment that haunts me is, that will never work here. On too many occasions, I've seen leaders reject ideas because they came from outside the military. There's a name for this too. It's called organizational uniqueness bias. Yeah, there are aspects of DoD that are unique, but there are also fundamental similarities across people and industries. And overlooking those parallels closes the door to learning from universities and from Silicon Valley. The organizational uniqueness bias is not unique to DoD. At Google, for example, engineers were convinced that they needed to build their own management playbook. And they found that what set their best managers apart was the same set of behaviors as everywhere else, like empowering teams and coaching individuals. Then I challenged them to study their great teams, and they discovered that the single most important driver of team performance was not individual talent, it was the psychological safety that leaders created.